Hello and welcome to Sports News Africa, the home of Africa's sporting conversation. Here's what's coming up on the program. South Africa to host first Africa T20 Cup. Stephen Keshi ends his contract dispute with the Nigerian Football Federation and signs a 2-year deal. And Wilson Chebet reflects on finishing third at the Boston Marathon and doping. Thank you for watching Sports News Africa. I'm Timiskin Devasai. South Africa will host the first Africa T20 Cup as a curtain raiser to the domestic season. The Cup, which will look to replicate the success of other T20 competitions like the Big Bash in Australia and the Indian Premier League, will run for a month from September the 4th till October the 4th. 16 teams will compete in the event, with 12 provincial sides affiliated to Cricket South Africa, along with an associate member from KwaZulu-Natal inland. The other 3 teams will come from Zimbabwe, Kenya and Namibia, who have already accepted invitations. The tournament will be a World Cup style of competition consisting of 4 pools of 4 teams, with the winners of each pool advancing to the semi-finals and finals. The venues for the pool matches will be in Sahara Willowmore Park in Gauteng, Sins Park in the northwest, the Diamond Oval in Northern Cape and the Mangwang Oval in Free State. To get more on this, we're now joined by the Chief Executive of Cricket South Africa, Haroon Lorgat. Mr. Lorgat, what has been your inspiration in creating this event?
Well, for some while now, as Cricket South Africa, we've been wanting to get ourselves involved into developing the game in Africa. We know the African Cricket Association has been doing a sterling job for a number of years as part of the ICC's development program. But I think being known as the powerhouse on the African continent insofar as cricket is concerned, we felt obligated to get involved. And this was a great opportunity because at the same time we were looking to develop some good content for our domestic affiliates and associate members. So by marrying the two, we felt this was a great opportunity to develop this T20 competition.
How will the competition be structured?
What we've done is we've invited 3 countries from Africa plus the 13 teams that we've got amongst the South African domestic setup. So that gives us 16 teams, which will be broken up into 4 pools of 4 teams each, with each one of the winners or pool winners going through to the semi-finals and final.
And will you look to attract overseas players to boost global interest?
We would look to that in due course, but initially what we're keen on doing is to give all of our players on the continent the opportunity to participate. What we've done is to allow 1 slot for the Pro-Tier players or international players. So yes, the short answer would be that in due course we will look for foreign involvement as well.
What about the prize money? What's on offer?
At the moment, we are in discussion with commercial partners. We've got several parties interested. We were not able to secure and finalize those deals before the launch date yesterday. But hopefully in due course, we will secure that and we'll make some further announcements with regards prize money and the commercial aspects to the tournament.
Now, T20 cricket around the world brings new audiences to the sport. How will you harness this interest?
Well, we think the continent is ripe for supporting cricket, and in particular 2020 cricket. We did have a domestic tournament for the affiliates in the 2020 format, which we are replacing with this more African 2020 competition. I think there's already some interest domestically. I've been very encouraged since the announcement to see how the continent has reacted to it. And we've got live broadcast of 10 days of the tournament. So I think we will be pleasantly surprised at what we will see as the following for this competition.
As the leading cricket nation in Africa, is this part of South Africa's plan to promote the game throughout the continent?
That is so, and as I mentioned earlier, we know the African Cricket Association has been doing a good job, but we want to try and get behind the ACA, plus that which we can as the leading full member on the continent to spread and develop the game a little bit further than what it was done before.
Now, it's interesting that the South African teams taking part will be feeder teams from your provinces. Is this part of the plan to develop more black cricketers to meet your transformation targets?
That is correct. We will retain the same targets that we have in our domestic setup for our South African affiliates. But I also think it's a great opportunity for emerging cricketers, particularly black players, to stake a claim. You know, in March of 2016, there's the ICC World T20 that's being hosted in India. And hopefully this is an early start for young players to stake a claim for higher honours.
There are other African nations that play cricket like Zambia, Nigeria and Rwanda, etc. Why only invite Zimbabwe, Namibia and Kenya?
Well, there's three. In fact, Namibia is also invited. What we chose to do was to invite Zimbabwe as being the other full member on the continent. And then we asked the African Cricket Association for the top two teams that were sitting on their rankings table. And that was Kenya and Namibia. I think we're starting with 16 teams, which means there are 3 teams from Africa. Hopefully in due course, we will be able to grow the number of teams participating. And that would allow us to include or invite more teams from Africa.
Arun Lorgat, thank you for talking to us and taking the time to speak to Sports News Africa. Stephen Keshi has agreed to a 2-year contract to coach Nigeria's national men's football team, ending months of uncertainty and speculation over his future. Keshi, who led the Super Eagles to the 2013 Africa Cup of Nations crown, failed to make it to this year's tournament in Equatorial Guinea. Keshi, a former Super Eagles captain, has called for a fresh start, saying any lingering bitterness needed to be put aside.
Controversial Nigerian coach Stephen Keshi has a reason to smile after Nigeria Football Federation finally awarded him a 2-year contract. The renewal of his contract has been marred by controversy, with months of delays over the official signing. Speaking during a brief ceremony at the media room in Abuja Stadium, the elated coach could hardly hide his joy.
I feel good. It's an honor, it's a privilege to work for your country, to coach your country, most especially a country that you served as a captain for 14 years, that you were pioneer of the Flying Eagles, and it's a great pleasure.
The former Super Eagles player had guided the Nigerian national team to the 2014 World Cup, where they were bundled out of the last 16 stage. He resigned immediately after the team lost to France, but was given a per-match contract for the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, where the team lost all its matches.
This is a new page in Nigerian football. We're going to do everything that we know we're going to do for Nigeria to be up there. What happened in the past has happened. We won, we lost, win some, we lose some. This is the time that we all need to come together, concentrate, fight for one nation.
The NFF said it had renewed his contract on the basis of his track record with the Nigerian football squad.
I want him to redevelop our football culture, a sustainable football culture. Our other 20s are doing well and winning. They've won 17, now they've won the Africa and they're going to the World Cup. We want a seamless transition. We want him, he has won the Nations Cup before. Let him go and win that.
Keshi will be looking to the Nigerian football fraternity to support him as he seeks to redeem himself and return Nigerian football to its winning ways.
Coming up after the break on Sports News Africa. Wilson Chebet talks to Sports News Africa about finishing third in the Boston Marathon and on doping. And Kenya stunned Egypt in the Zone 5 volleyball qualifiers for the All-Africa Games. All that is still to come. See you after the break. Welcome back to Sports News Africa. Kenyan marathon runner Wilson Chebet says he's pleased with his third-place finish at the prestigious Boston Marathon on Monday, despite not enjoying the wet and windy conditions throughout the 26-mile course. Chebet, who was racing in Boston for the third time, was hoping to add that title to wins in Amsterdam and Rotterdam. At the 22-mile mark, there were 7 athletes in with a chance of winning the event, including eventual winner Lisa Dedisa and second Yamanat Agai, both from Ethiopia. However, the final 6 miles sorted them out, with Chebet holding on for third in a time of 2 hours, 10 minutes and 22 seconds. We can now speak to Wilson Chebet via Skype in the United States. Wilson, fantastic run to finish third in Boston. Did the race go to plan?
The race really was nice, but we had challenge of weather conditions because it was raining all the way and it was really windy to all of us. But I was trying all my best, but towards the end, around that is 7 kilometers, when these Ethiopians react, I was left behind. Then I was trying to catch up the pace, but it was really not good for me. I was feeling my hands was really going tight because it was cold.
You finished in a time of 2 hours, 10 minutes and 22 seconds. Were you pleased with that time, and do you feel you could have gone faster rather?
I think about the time, that cannot bother me too much because this is a very tough course, and I know if I could be somewhere else, I could run like 2:4, 2:5. So the time for yesterday kind of bother me too much, but I was aiming to win. But what came yesterday, I'm really happy about it.
Now, you mentioned it there, but tell us more about the conditions on the roads.
The road was okay. I knew the course very well, and we had a lot of spectators around cheering for us. All the way was really nice. It's only that it was really cold and chilly and raining in some parts.
What's so special about running in the Boston Marathon, as you came second last year?
Yeah, I like I like participating in Boston Marathon because it's one of the world major races. And we have been conducting a good relation with the organizers and all those staffs. So I'm really feeling well when I come here to participate in this race.
Now, Kenya athletics is mired in doping scandals at the moment. Have you been surprised by the number of athletes being caught out?
Yeah, I'm really surprised about what is happening in Kenya because most of the athletes have been identified that they are using these banned substances, and we are really going struggling to at least eliminate one of our athletes to at least know what's going on about these drugs. Because if we continue like this, I think it will paralyze the sport in Kenya.
Wilson, Kenyan athletics have been accused of being slow to act on this. Do you think they could have acted faster?
I think about federation in Kenya, I think they were acting slow, but we tried as athletes now to even recently we formed there's another party that we formed called the Professional Athletic Association of Kenya, which is now dealing with athletes who are current in sports. And now, among the things that we always emphasize is about doping, about training, and all those stuff that make someone to achieve good results in what he's doing.
Wilson, thank you for speaking to Sports News Africa, and congratulations. Time now for a look at some of the other stories making the headlines across the continent. Former South Africa captain JohnShoes has died aged 49 after losing his battle with stomach cancer. Mashweyu became a national hero when he scored 4 goals on the Bafana Bafana's run to win the 1996 Africa Cup of Nations in South Africa. The former Kaizer Chiefs and Turkish Fenerbahce midfielder won 73 caps for South Africa. The NBA has announced plans for an exhibition match, the first of its kind to be played in Johannesburg in August. It's the latest strategy from the American Basketball Association to develop the league's global fan base. 2-time NBA All-Star Liol Deng of the Miami Heat will lead Team Africa, while 8-time NBA All-Star Chris Paul of the Los Angeles Clippers will captain Team World. West Ham central midfielder Cheku Kouyaté has issued a public apology to David Silva after catching the Spaniard in the face with his elbow. The incident happened during Manchester City's 2-0 win over the Hammers at the weekend. Kouyaté was criticised for his actions, but the Senegalese claimed there was no malice in the clash. And Italian giant Juventus have categorically told Chelsea and Wolfsburg that Kwadwo Asamoah is not for sale. The Ghana international is on the verge of regaining full fitness after being sidelined for 5 months following knee surgery. Chelsea were linked with a £24 million deal for Asamoah in the winter, but talks broke down and the player is contracted to Juventus until 2018. To Uganda next, where the Zone 5 qualifiers for the upcoming All-Africa Games are taking place. Kenya women's volleyball team have beaten Egypt in the opening match of the qualifiers in Kampala, taking the East Africans a step closer to qualifying for the Games in Congo-Brazzaville.
The Kenya women volleyball team on Tuesday commenced their All-Africa Games qualifiers on a winning note after beating Egypt 3-1 in Kampala, Uganda. The match between the two teams was tough, but Kenya was the dominant side in most sets.
The match was very tough. The first set we played really well, but the second set we had so many mistakes, especially attack mistakes. But I'm glad that my team finally from the third set and the fourth set, we were able to minimize our mistakes and we won eventually.
Despite winning the match, the Kenyan side experienced some defensive lapses in their play.
I guess we are going to try and rectify our mistakes, which were blocks and attacks, because our blocks and attacks were the main cause of why we lost the second set. So, yeah, we are planning to rectify all those mistakes and then we are going to win easily.
Egypt attributed their loss to inexperienced players fielded in the match.
This is the fault is due to the less experience, because our team is too young. But the opposite in Kenya, they have enough experience. All of them are old, not from the young ladies. So this is the default of our team.
Only 2 teams from the region will qualify for the All-Africa Games in Congo-Brazzaville beginning in September. Wednesday's matches will pit Kenya against Ethiopia and Egypt against host nation Uganda.
You're watching Sports News Africa. Time for another break now, but when we come back, a new championship belt for the winner of the fight of the century is unveiled. And Bayern Munich brushed Porto aside to reach the Champions League semi-finals. See you after the break. You're watching Sports News Africa. It's been billed as the fight of the century, so naturally the winner of the World Welterweight Unification bout between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao should have a belt to match. To that end, a $1 million emerald green belt has been especially created for the bout in Las Vegas on May the 2nd.
The World Boxing Council have unveiled the Emerald Belt in Mexico City. It's the belt that the winner of the Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao prize fight will take home on the 2nd of May. Mayweather and Pacquiao will face off in what has been called the fight of the century. The boxers are expected to split $253 million in one of the most anticipated bouts in the history of boxing. The belt was handmade in Mexico by artisans from 2 workshops. The green leather belt is encrusted with 3,000 emeralds and is reportedly worth a cool $1 million or thereabouts. Boxing commentator Guillermo Schutz explained the significance of winning a belt.
En algunos deportes se dan medallas.
In some sports, medals are given, in others they give rings, and in some others you get trophies. But receiving a belt is a unique feeling, a very particular mysticism.
El hecho de recibir un cinturón tiene un sentimiento único, un misticismo.
The gold-covered belt has medallions with the faces of Pacquiao, Mayweather, Muhammad Ali and Jose Sulaiman, the late president of the WBC.
Robert Lewandowski scored twice on Tuesday as Bayern Munich powered into the Champions League semi-finals for the fourth year in succession with a 6-1 second leg routing of Porto. The Bavarians needed to overturn a 2-goal deficit after last Wednesday's shock 3-1 first leg defeat at Porto. Bayern, though, won in a canter, scoring 5 goals in 25 minutes of the game to restore order to European football's elite.
I think it was good. I didn't expect it. After the last 5 or 6 matches, only against Frankfurt, we had problems creating chances and scoring goals. But tonight we scored 5 goals in the first half. That shows the quality of my players and of this club. So I'm very satisfied and happy, of course.
That is good, the mentality for diese Spieler, für diese Verein. Ich bin zufrieden, natürlich. Aconteció que
What happened today was that we didn't play well in the first half. Bayern Munich are one of the best football clubs in the world and the clear favourites for the Champions League. They did a great match tonight, and we were not at our very best in the first half. We conceded a goal very early in the match, and then we were in trouble. There are hundreds of matches of difference between one club and the other, and this experience can be noticed. No, we can still play better. We lost the ball here and there, and we can improve on that. In the second half, Lopetegui changed his tactics, and we had a few problems, and it was also dangerous, I have to say. They only had a few chances, none of them in the first half. Then they had a few in the second, especially Jackson Martinez. You should never relax or lay back in the Champions League match. We have to work on that. The second half was not good, but I know how difficult it was after a 3-1 defeat in the Champions League. We wanted to watch the draw on Friday, and we'll be able to do that now. I have to say thank you to my players who gave us the chance to stay in the Champions League.
Let's look at the other results from Tuesday as well as Wednesday's fixtures. Barcelona cruised into their 7th Champions League semi-final in 8 years as a double from Neymar handed them a 2-0 win over Paris Saint-Germain. That sealed a 5-1 aggregate victory. Taking a look at Wednesday's games, Juventus have the semis in sight against Monaco. The Italian side are looking to clinch a place in the last 4 for the first time in over a decade. Real Madrid are at home to city rivals Atletico in the second leg, but the hosts will be without Luka Modric, Gareth Bale and Karim Benzema. Marcelo is also out through suspension. LeBron James scored 30 points, 9 rebounds and 7 assists as the Cleveland Cavaliers defeated the Boston Celtics 99-91 on Tuesday to seize a 2-0 lead in the first round playoff series. James committed 6 of Cleveland's 18 turnovers, but came through when it mattered most down the stretch.
Game 2 between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics was on Tuesday night at the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. Off a turnover by 4-time most valuable player LeBron James, Marcus Stewart hit a corner three-pointer to put the Celtics 16-8 ahead midway through the opening quarter. Timothy Mozgov knocked down the Celtics' Tyler Zeller on his way to the basket for a dunk to pull the Cavaliers even at 16 all with 4 minutes remaining in the quarter. Matthew Dellavedova sank a three-pointer to keep the Cavaliers within a point of the Celtics early in the second. Kyrie Irving knocked down a deep three-pointer to move the Cavaliers in front 49-48 late in the quarter. Cleveland led 51-50 at the end of the first half. Kevin Love threw down a reverse dunk off a lob pass from James to extend the Cavaliers' advantage to 62-54 in the third quarter. Irving then dished the ball to James for a bucket in the paint to open up a 13-point Cavaliers lead midway through the quarter.
Coming at you full speed, and you're trying to stop him from...
But the Cavaliers couldn't shake off the Celtics, who pulled within 2 points on a three-point play by Isaiah Thomas in the fourth.
Foul! They are very much back into it. Ball movement.
But off some crisp ball movement, Irvin sank another three-pointer to make it 84-79 to Cleveland.
Kyrie Irving
Jay Crowder answered with a jumper to cut the Celtics' deficit to 3 with less than 8 minutes remaining. But James made big shots in the final moment, including this driving layup that sealed the win for Cleveland, 99-91.
And that's the end of Sports News Africa for today. Join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you all the latest from Africa and around the world. Bye for now.